Hi, I'm Stephanie Wainwright. I'm a wife, a mom, a business owner, and my life is chaotic all the time. So I created this podcast to help you find the funny, the good, while navigating through the chaos. This is Chaotic Compass Podcast. Okay, what is up, Chaotic Tribe? We are here this evening. I actually have a guest speaker this evening. I have my husband, Ryan, here with us. And so this evening, we are going to talk about working with your spouse. And it's always a favorite topic of ours because we live it every day. So say hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan.
So
Hey, y'all. What's up? My name is Ryan Wainwright. And I
literally so this is Ryan. You're like, so my name is Ryan, and I got a name tag that says, hello, my name is Ryan on, but nobody can read that. But
Right. But that is my name. And I make her the wife part of her intro.
Oh, okay.
So it works most of the time.
You did something.
That's
okay,
right.
gotcha.
Yes,
All right.
yes. There's some shiny objects involved.
Right, okay.
A few vows.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, till death do us part, or somebody ends up in orange, I think is what it was.
Right. Yeah, she might be plotting. I don't know.
Okay, so today we're talking about working with your spouse.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's I call it the third level of hell most days. And Ryan disagrees with me on a daily basis. He loves it so much. It's like unicorns and rainbows like all the time.
It is a good thing for me. Okay, I don't refer to it as the third level of hell.
No.
I'm that makes me think of like there's like an elevator system down there or something.
Right, yeah.
And,
third floor, please.
right.
Yeah.
But it's got to go down. So as you go down, I guess it gets hotter and
right?
worse.
Yeah.
So I guess it could
Like
be
you
worse.
get closer to the magma.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how many levels there are, but I would think that's why she keeps doing it. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, so it's not purgatory.
Right. Okay.
But it is actually in hell. But it's not the first level, it's the third level in hell. So it's like hell in the third degree, like third degree burns, maybe?
Maybe.
Yeah. So maybe there's only one more, like you're literally at Satan's doorstep.
I don't know. I mean, it's definitely a relative experience. And it changes daily. Some days are obviously better than others.
I don't know. It's still pretty rough every day. Like, and not only do I get the joy of working with my spouse on a daily basis, but I get the joy of working with my father-in-law, which adds a whole new sprinkle of shit in it.
But that's not what this episode is about. And we're going to keep it a little bit lighter and a lot cleaner with referring to her language regarding my father-in-law.
Okay, so I found this article on okay, I swear I'm not making the website is called fairygodboss.com. Okay. So
that already sounds pretty hellish. Like
the article is called "Should You Ever Work with Your Spouse?" and it goes into pros and cons of working with your spouse. And I wanted to read I haven't read these yet, and neither has Ryan. And right. So we wanted to bring this up and kind of go through these.
I can attest to that.
Okay.
She's being honest.
So, but before we get into pros and cons, I want to so this is why we drink. I drink. I don't know if Ryan drinks, but I drink because I work with my husband every day, 7 days a week, you guys, 7 days a week. Okay. So I work with my husband. So that's why I drink today and every day, probably. So we're gonna, today, get it. There we go. Right in the mic. Okay. So today we are drinking Four Loko. The can is crazy. Just, it is Loco. Blue Raz Sour. Okay, we've got a 14% alcoholic drink here, and I don't know. It's it looks pretty intense and kind of scary. I mean, those club tails. we won't talk about
We
that.
won't revisit that.
Okay, but the club tails,
after.
the 10% alcohol with the club tails. Now you got 14%. Y'all are trying to just kill my liver. I know it.
This does not seem like a good idea.
But we're doing it. So for Loco, we're gonna try this together. Okay. Ugh.
Blue ras sour.
Yeah, we can't even say. Like, I think they can't spell raspberry. I think that's what it is. It smells like a Jolly
I'd
Rancher.
like to see a blue raspberry first of all. I mean,
Right.
I think that's complete like fairy tale. You know, you talk about unicorns and rainbows. I think at the end of that rainbow is a blue raspberry. I'm sure they've genetically modified some sort of fruit.
I think you're not supposed to
grow something
analyze.
like
I think
that,
you're just
but-
supposed to drink it. But so
Alright, let's
for
give it a
me, it's like a Jolly Rancher on steroids that sat for a while and fermented. I just burped it up, and I'm
God.
sorry. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's intense.
That is very, very different.
Yeah, I wasn't anticipating. I don't know what I was thinking,
I
but
don't either, but it's like if the color blue
yeah,
had
the
a
color
flavor,
blue was that would be.
it would be 14% of this can right here.
It's like boom, blue in your
It
face.
really is.
It kind
yeah.
of like that Blue Monster ice cream that we have at the
Yeah,
local
that's good
arcade.
stuff.
Yeah, I know. And it
That's
turns
my
your whole face blue, and then like later on, it has some blue effects that we don't want
Right,
to talk
yeah,
about.
No, I don't need to talk about it. But it
But
definitely happens.
I hope that this isn't going to be like
I
that.
can't
But
even tell what color it is, but
I mean,
it's
it
probably
tastes.
not even blue.
It tastes blue. You can't.
It's
No, look, it's kind of clear actually. Yeah, so it's like that mystery flavor in the
almost like
Airheads.
false advertising. Like I was really hoping for something blue.
You wanted
throw-
like your tongue blue?
yeah, throw some blue stuff in there.
I'm sorry.
You know? I mean,
Well, I'll try harder to find a blue drink that turns your tongue blue
okay.
next time. So I bet you if you just like freeze it and put a couple of drops of blue dye, it'd be fine.
yeah. I'm not
So,
going through all
anyways,
that.
so
It's not that good. it's okay if you
Yeah.
like sweet blue raspberry things.
I mean,
It does taste like an alcoholic Jolly Rancher. I mean, you got to point.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, but I will not get this again. But it's something different, and it's in a tall can, and I'm a sucker for tall cans.
Yeah.
But
It tastes like something that you paid somebody to buy you and when you were 19.
oh no, remember those like there was
I'm not advocating for underage drinking, but I'm pretty sure that there's
No.
a lot of drunk 19-year-olds because of Four Locos.
what was
Blue
that
raspberry
drink that we had at the bar in by my bank?
Oh, that really narrows it down. There's so many bars by banks.
No, by my bank over in Newport News.
That's changed names 3 times.
Right, because
their
it was
service
so bad.
terrible.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it was the worst. Terrible. It was the worst.
Oh no, the Scooby Doo snack.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
a horrible decision. But the drinks, it was yummy, and then it hit you, and then you end up in the parking lot yakking in a sewer. No, like a drainage ditch. I think.
And you learn that you can pick up your future wife off the parking lot and put her in your truck. Like you learn things.
I think that's
with
redneck
Scooby
style. I
snacks.
think that you became a redneck that day. You turned into a country redneck. You picked your wife up off, or
Well,
future
see, yeah,
wife,
future wife, yeah.
future wife up off the parking lot.
Like I'm gonna marry this one.
Yeah, that was. I mean, yeah.
It happened. I definitely learned something that evening.
But don't drink with
doesn't
Stephanie.
take it away from anything that we've ever done.
It's like go big or go home, and you're like, shoo, I should have not done.
Right.
Here we are.
Okay.
Okay. Anywho, okay, so we are talking about pros and cons of working with your spouse. We could talk about all of the alcoholic evenings on another episode. So the first one, okay, this is pros, right? Okay, the first one, it says you get to commute to work together. That's the first pro. So I work from home
Right.
and you work out in the wherever.
And we've recently talked to another couple that work together as well, and
Yeah.
They do not
Yeah.
do that, and they don't even advocate for. They advocate for the opposite. They like. She was like, "Man, I really enjoy that 15 minutes of just alone time."
Right.
And there's definitely something to that.
Yes, I agree. And they do you need, but we'll get into that. So we're just we're gonna go through the list and then we'll talk about. So, okay, the second one is you get to see another side of your partner that you may find inspiring and motivational.
Yep, you could. And I, you know, I mean, all right. So there's obvious, there's obvious things there. That's like bullshit, but like, you know, there's
hard.
also, well, I mean, there's also times where it's like, you know, that's absolutely correct, but you gotta.
You gotta weave through like so much to get to those moments.
Of this is all about perspective. Hey, man, you know, my wife is incredibly smart and intelligent, and if you've been following this podcast, it comes out, it oozes all over the place as far as like this chick can think. You know, there's another.
He's trying to get brownie points, you guys. So like. Don't listen to him.
So, you know, it would take them when you can get them.
Right.
But, you know, and then, but that should be a pro. If that's not on this list later down the list, like
I don't see that on my list. So
see, it should be, because that could be something where it's like, okay, you have more opportunities for brownie points if you spend the entire day together while you make a living.
I see, for me, I feel that there's more opportunities to not like to deduct from the barely there brownie points. Like for me on the other, so okay, moving on, next one. So
you gotta explore all this.
Like, okay, because I could dwell on each one of these ones and we've only got a little bit of time. So all right, so the next one is you get to challenge each other in more ways. Really, I see like, and maybe that's just me, I feel like these are sunshine and rainbows answers. I think somebody was on drugs and they wrote these answers and they really weren't thinking realistically. But we're going to keep going because I'm waiting for the cons. Okay, so keep going. All right.
Wait. You're looking forward to the cons? That doesn't make sense here.
Because the cons are where I live. Okay, so...
Well, they're probably just newlyweds. And it's a new
That's
business.
what it is. That's what...
And...
Well, technically, if you think about it, like, we're technically still newlyweds. We're still, like, we haven't made.
It's only been about 12 years, right?
I'm
gonna pay for that.
Yeah, you're gonna die. So that wasn't premeditation. Don't call anybody. All right, so you will understand each other's work stresses and be able to offer better, more informed advice to one another. I can't.
No, that's true. I mean, that's a definitive like point there. Like you see or get to experience some of that work.
Okay.
I don't know that we get to share it all that much because we do a couple different jobs that are completely unrelated, but for the same company, right?
It's just like sunshine and rainbows, so hard.
Oh, come on.
Okay, come on. All right. So because it's like, there are so many times where it's like, this is stressing me out, and it's literally you. Okay, we're moving on. Okay. All right. Get it together, Stephanie. Okay, so you will understand each other's work goals and be able to offer better, more informed advice to one another. Yeah. See, we're in this. Okay. Can I just get let's go to the bottom one. Hold on. You'll have an automatic lunch buddy.
Wait a minute. All right. So this is definitely okay. I'm starting to kind of skew I was originally trying to give him some credit here, but it's just not real.
It's not real.
It's not real.
No, it's not real.
Unless you get into some sort of, okay, it's husband and wife, right? You know, and that implies that there's some sort of romantic connection at some point, and you involve the workplace. All right, so one of the things, Stephanie is a fanatic over Grey's Anatomy, and there's always that on-call room that's never used.
Oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? So but those people work together. And so it's like, if that's not included on the list of this thing, of advantages, of pros to working with your spouse, if there's no sexual innuendo
No, it's
regarding working with your
We're
spouse
talking
as
about
an advantage, this is a bogus list, man.
No, we're talking about literal sexual harassment in the workplace. I'm telling you, y'all, first day on the job, my husband, my boss, made out with me. Okay? If that's not sexual harassment in the workplace, then I don't know what it is. But I'm still here.
Right.
I'm still here.
So it moves from harassment to a perk, in my opinion.
Right.
Like it's
yeah, and you're
it's almost
trying
like
to
getting a bonus.
Yeah, and like you're trying to play that off as this is why you should stick around, because
Right.
like that's you get to make out with the president of the company.
Right. I mean, you can even take it a little bit further, because I mean, we're talking husband and wife here. I mean, they do things with each other theoretically, and so
Theoretically,
yes,
yeah,
we're gonna keep it clean here. But I mean, like, I put, as she asked me for a description of the perks and benefits to the job, and you guys, I couldn't help it. I thought about it. I wrote this list out.
Oh,
it
when
was
he's
legit.
starting to snicker,
It was legit. It really was legit. We had the salary going on. We had the potential and the metrics of access to all the metrics to see the real time effect, the cause and effect of her job and what she's doing on the company and the numbers. And I had all that stuff in there. It was legit, right? And then the last line, I couldn't help it. Right? I couldn't resist.
he wrote it in like the margins, and it was kind of
yeah. Right, but the last line was unlimited sexual favors provided by the company president.
He did. Truth. Facts right there, y'all.
And that's me, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not some
I don't hire that one out.
Just making sure that that's very clear that is my husband, and that's not weird at all. We're gonna keep going, keep plugging, okay? Because we could dwell on each one of these so hard. All right, so I'm gonna move on to cons, okay? Cons.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should have led with that. I feel like this would have better fit your personality.
To start with the cons,
Just
and
a little bit of a pessimist. I'm more of an optimist.
Optimist? Oh, yeah. See,
dude,
remember?
that 14% really.
I told you, and then it was like, the other day when I kind of went, I messed up and I was like, bubble guppies. It was kind of like that moment right there. And it was like, we should have edited that out, but we're going to keep that. Like, tongue-tiedness is funny. Keep going. All right. So Ryan has a hard time with 14% alcohol.
Well, okay. So Ryan might have a hard time with Sailor Jerry. That's my
life.
Or life in general.
Okay, all right.
Involves reading.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm reading the ones that are online. Okay, all right. So 10 cons, but we're probably not going to get through them all. Okay, so number 1, spending more time together may sound great, but you may find that you need some space. If you spend all your time together, you won't be getting any. That's literally.
Now we're getting real. Now we're actually getting to.
Are they talking
the
about
legit part of this list?
I mean, is that literally talking about like that side of things, or is it? And again, so I should have done a PSA. Kylie, don't listen to this episode. I did that on one episode. But anyways, okay, so I mean, spending more time together may sound great, but you may find yourself needing some space. Like, okay, we don't need to get into space. I advocate, and that was an episode that I did a couple episodes ago. As far as boundaries are a thing for me. I absolutely hardcore believe that is a thing, and I believe that my husband, and he can disagree, but I believe that he doesn't believe in hard boundaries. I have to have them because that is something I advocate for. But I believe that he doesn't necessarily. I think that's a gray area for him.
I think gray is fair, yes. I do struggle with that. And part of the reason for that struggle is the best summation is the gray. I mean, there's not always a cut and dry, easy answer of, hey, it's you have to turn it off. And
when you own it, I mean,
when the responsibilities and the magnitude of your decisions are not just affecting, your household, they're affecting other households. Man, it is a heavy. It does heavy. It does take a little bit of its toll on your psyche as far as those boundaries goes. It makes it harder. You just kind of have to consider a little bit more than just yourself.
I mean, I truly do believe in that, for me, it's hard I've got how many ever employees, and it's not just my family, it's all of my employees' families now. It's not just, and that's a heavy burden to bear. But if I could think about that at 2 a.m. I could think about that 24/7 if I let me, but I've got to be able to shut it off and recharge.
Right.
In order to be able to be the best me. And owning a business, and I think these are really geared towards just couples that work together in general. I don't think it, as far as owning a business, but I think owning a business adds a different level to that because it's always on your mind, especially with us, with what we have going on. There's always the stresses, and I wake up at 2 a.m. and it's like, I've got to get it off my chest, kind of thing. And it's like, I know you would listen to me.
Therefore, I'm awake at 2 a.m.
Right. Like, I got to get it off my chest, And so me having those boundaries is really necessary. But like when I'm dwelling in things at 2 a.m., I know that you don't need that.
Well, I mean, part of it, you've got to also think about it. You're absolutely right as far as necessity of boundaries. And what you've got to do, and what I'm learning, and I give Stephanie all the credit here, is, boundaries are necessary. And here's why. Because if you get the right people that are extremely passionate and involved with your company, which are the right people, by the way.
Right, for real.
You've got to make sure they have boundaries too, because if you're struggling with boundaries, okay, and you're at all hours, calling, texting, hey, I just thought of this,
right.
You got to take care of this tomorrow. Man, you're gonna lead these guys into that direction.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, man, their wives or spouses or significant others that are involved in this process unwittingly,
right.
Are now like, man, what the heck? Let's get some boundaries. But if you're at the top and you're trying to lead these folks and you don't have those boundaries and you're leading them into a boundaryless situation, you're causing them problems. And that's something
catastrophic.
That's something that I've got to learn because, and it comes back again to, it's not just your household when you own it. And, leadership starts at the top and it kind of oozes into all the different aspects. And man, that's tough. That's hard.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, I mean, like that's like, how do you follow up with that? But I'm going to keep, keep going. Okay. So
she gets me thinking, man, I'm telling you this,
and then when he gets going, it's like,
some
he
thought
just
process into this.
I mean, we had we had the thought earlier. He was like, so I was thinking, and I was like, oh man, you were thinking by yourself. Like you shouldn't think alone.
Right. Yeah.
You need a thinking buddy. Like,
yeah.
And then
of course, she breaks out the Blue Raz 4 Loco.
Right. And then it's like, that just blurs it all.
Now we're a thinking, drinking buddy.
Okay. All right. Number 2. All right. Because it took us forever to get to number 1. All right, number 2. You may not want to take work stresses home with you, but because your partner works with you, it's almost inevitable that you carry workplace conversations outside the office. And there we go. That comes back to the 2 a.m. I'm stressed out, and here we go. Or literally, like, I'm getting you home at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock at night, and now I'm going to word vomit on you. And then it carries over and it's like, where's that line? Where's that line?
When do you turn it off?
Yeah. When do you shut that off? And so that's a legit problem.
And it's also a big deal because a lot of times with us, when it's, our business and it's our source of income and resources and how we provide for everything that we care about, across the board, it can be consuming. And you could be talking about the randomest thing that you saw on the news that night or something, and you keep talking about it, and ultimately or inevitably you end up on some sort of subject relating to the business. And it's like, okay, how long have we been talking about business here when it's, it's 8:00 and we originally started out this conversation about, a news show we saw where, the government's trying to get involved to promote, more female truckers in the trucking industry.
We
how
did.
Do we go from female truckers in the trucking industry to a charter boat company?
We did. Well, because I'm trying to integrate more. I would love to have more female employees, and that's just me trying to advocate for. But I could tell you all the reasons, but it's
ultimately it's like, how in the world do you get from point A to
no? It always
Z
happens
half,
it always happens like that. We'll get on a subject and then we'll go down this rabbit hole, and both of us look at each other like, how the heck did that happen? But here we are.
And then what you have to do is take that for face value. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you can't hold
it's one gentleman, I'm pretty sure.
Guy. You can't hold that against each other for always talking about work, because that's not what anybody had the intention of doing that evening.
I do. And that I'm so guilty of that. Like, we could talk about that for a hot minute. I'm so guilty, and I acknowledge that. Like, I blame my husband for taking the subject into work. And it's literally, it's 9 times out of 10, it's both of us. But I blame him. Yeah. And I think he's my scapegoat for that, because we're being honest here, and that sucks. And this is just, hey, if you're looking to work with your husband or your wife or your spouse or your whomever, think hard. Like, because it's real, y'all.
It gets complicated.
It really does.
Man, because you
oh my gosh.
Because you think about it and you hear stories all the time where you're living your work.
It literally is, because it's, oh my God.
Some downtime.
It's because our company is a living, breathing thing, and if we don't put into it, if we were to just drop that ball, I don't believe that if we you and I both simultaneously drop that ball, it's not going to survive. Both of those companies are not going to survive. And that's hard. That's hard, for us to be juggling all of that at the same time. Plus, the kids, plus, living with my parents, plus,
14 other episodes of what we actually do that brings this whole chaotic concept full circle.
When we say chaotic, I swear that is not a lie. Like, it is every single day there is some kind of chaos that is going on, and it's
never a dull moment. No, that's what I tell everybody.
He's so optimistic, and it's so for me it's like, ew. Like, stop. Like, it's not, oh my gosh, we just live for each moment. It's such a blessing. And it's like, I try really hard to find the good in all the things, but can you take a minute? Just take a minute. Take a minute and realize that I work, breathe, live in this house 24/7.
I have a little bit of an advantage in that I don't have to stay in the house.
You're like, so you're struggling? Okay, peace, bye. I get in my truck and
I've got a great excuse, y'all. Let me tell you.
So I gotta go get billable hours. Okay, bye.
Yep. Bye.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna keep moving on. I wish I really honestly I wish I could have picked out the best ones. I should have just screened. All right. So
we should have
if
pre-done
you
this.
are working on the same projects at work, okay, see, and then again, this is like you're
all the time.
not
all the time, all day,
all
every
of them,
day,
everyone.
same project.
Okay, 7 days a week. All right, so one of you pulls more weight than the other. Ooh, so good. Okay. It can cause tension not only in your team in the workplace, but also in your relationship at home. Let's talk about that, y'all. Okay,
what's the next one?
Ryan wants to. Okay, I'm gonna steal the mic. Ryan wants to skip across that one, and I know we're already at the 30-minute mark, so we're going to keep going. Okay. Ryan
Can I talk about Mutiny Vodka yet?
Ryan wants to skip across this one because I believe that I am a big motivator for Ryan. And I believe that I am a big organizational factor in this company. And then I have to keep pushing Ryan to do the things. And if he had the choice a long time ago, he would have never started his marine services company. Nope. And he would have never kept our charter boat company going.
Probably not.
So it was Stephanie that was that motivational factor, and Stephanie's kicking her ass because Stephanie has to keep pouring into Ryan. And I know we're gonna bring this whole, but Stephanie feels that she keeps having to pour into Ryan to keep him motivated, and that in itself is a job, and that's exhausting. And I don't get paid enough. Let's just cut. I don't get paid enough.
I will agree with that. I will agree with the last sentiment that she does not get paid enough. Can never be paid enough.
It's
because
exhausting.
She's very good at what she does.
Okay.
I will give her that. I don't know that it's a question.
Cheerleading is hard.
Well, yeah, then that's what it is. Yeah. I don't know that it's a question of motivation because, if I weren't motivated, then I would have definitely fought back against what we've been pushing towards because I knew what I was getting into. I was very well aware of the marine industry. I had been in the charter boat business since 2003, so I was in that.
You're old.
12 years prior to meeting Stephanie, and I am only 5 years older. 4.5. 4.5. If you really want to be technical. So it's not like I'm robbing the cradle.
Hey,
here.
He just had a birthday, you guys.
We don't need to talk about
Let's
that.
talk
That's
about that. Oh my god.
Oh
my gosh,
We're
you guys.
About working together.
Let's give it a happy birthday, Ryan episode. He turned 40. Oh my god. Happy 40th birthday, Ryan. I know it's a little late on a podcast, and it's okay. They're going to appreciate that. And let's just celebrate that. I know. Y'all, he's having a midlife crisis. That's what it is. It's a midlife crisis, and just accept it. You can't even say the word 40. You can't even spell the word 40. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Don't make fun of the retarded kid, okay? I have a legitimate reading and writing learning disability. I've been diagnosed. I've got paperwork, okay?
I haven't seen that paperwork. Whatever. It's fine.
It's from college, okay?
But was back in the dinosaur age. It's fine.
I struggle with 40. I struggle with necessary spaghetti. Okay. Like, I can't spell, y'all. All right. So, and I'll give you, okay, so you'll get a kick out of this. Okay. My dad was a commercial waterman when I was a kid, and I was in 5th grade. Okay. And I go see him on the weekends and stuff. And well, they worked on Saturday. And so I was this little 9-year-old kid on this oyster boat, and they were oystering, right? I was the call boy so all I had to do was pick out the oysters, see if they were big enough, and if they were, you put them in the good pile, and if not, you throw them overboard. So I'd actually been oystering, right? And I was the only kid in this class, right? There was no other kids in there that knew what a damn oyster was, and it was a spelling test, and I got the word oyster, and I spelled it wrong. It was
Ryan,
so, I felt like the biggest idiot
how the
because
hell do you spell oyster?
this is not a spelling test right now. But no, I was the only kid. I'm not going to do that. I'm not falling in for that trap.
No.
I was the
It's
only kid
fine.
in the class that had actually
You
caught
have-
one of these animals, one of these organisms.
Oh no.
Yet I was probably the only kid in the class that couldn't figure out how to spell the damn word.
That's
But anyway, I should have known then. It was preemptive diagnosis in 5th grade, but whatever.
look, spelling's
can't
not
spell.
life, man. Spelling is not all of life. I'm just saying. It only comes up when you gotta write a check. It's fine.
Right. I did learn that spelling is no indication whatsoever of your IQ or intelligence. So that was a relief.
Okay.
Are we back to the list yet?
No,
We
okay. The last one is when you eat lunch together, you may be missing opportunities to meet other people and to value other relationships you might be able to grow. And see, that's what I'm saying. We ate lunch together. What was it yesterday? No, day before yesterday. I don't
Something
even-
like that. Yeah, I forget what day it is.
Yeah,
but,
and and that
did.
was like we had beers for lunch, you guys. And Ryan's like, we should do this all the time, and I'm like, that's alcoholism.
yeah. We should not do that.
No, we should not do that. But that was like the first time in a while that we had lunch together.
Right, and we had a beer.
We had
one.
just to be honest,
one.
we had a beer, but like we don't get the opportunity like we did when we worked together at the marina to be able to take lunch together because you are wherever and I'm here, and so it's a rare opportunity that we are in the same zip code to be able to have lunch.
Right. I think, bottom line, if we really want to talk about the pros and cons or the what ifs
Right.
or the
And
should I?
Right. I
get
think
involved
I
with
think
a
we should
business?
get into, so this is going to be a longer episode than normal, but I think we should get into our pros and cons, but because I think that is a fictitious list. I think that's a list of where you don't own a business together. You are literally supposed to be working together in the same workplace, and I think that's so hypothetical because we know people that work together. Even that list, it's like, all right, so for me, boundaries, and I've already hit on that, listen to my episode on boundaries. That is the thing. Okay, I work 6 to 6. I think 12 hours a day is more than ample time to get stuff done. And if I can't get that done between 6 to 6, talk to me tomorrow. Write it down, make a list, let's talk about it tomorrow. And if you can't make time between 6 to 6, that's on you.
Right. Well, and I think too, there's also a quantifiable, aspect of this where if you can't run a profitable business and make a living in 60 hours during a week, that ain't gonna work.
You're doing it wrong.
You're either doing it wrong or that's just not the business that you need to be in. And, hopefully, that'll help because, man, a 12-hour day is a hell of a day.
That's a day.
And I gotta hand it to this chick. She does put in the 12 hours. I mean, there's it's not physical.
No, it's
a physical 12-hour day is a different kind of day. That's a
right.
different animal.
No, I've been dealing with people since 6 o'clock this morning, trying to get them, make sure that they're in the right place, and then it has been nonstop. I don't know, because I usually count how many calls I have in a day, but I haven't today. But it has been from 6 a.m. this morning, getting people directed to where they need to go till 6 o'clock tonight. And all my goals were today, I know, I rabbit hole. So my goals were today, reconcile 2 accounts and, get my updated sheets on what I owe our mates. That's it. That was and what I did today in 12 hours, reconcile 2 accounts. 12 hours.
So close.
I mean,
but you got to cut it off, man, because, that's where the boundaries things come in. That's where, you've got to say, okay, 12 hours is enough. Because you get in any more of that, there's no time left for you. And man, humans can only do that for so long.
and luckily we have a seasonal aspect, and it's only hardcore like this for a few months. But Lord, child, for a few months, it's brutal. It's brutal. It's you're taking a beating.
You got to have the mindset, you've got to know what you're in for in order to really be able to sustain
haven't gotten
something like that.
Second layer of skin from Amazon just yet. So hold up, give me a minute. It's on order, but it takes a level of endurance, and I haven't gotten there. Okay, you got to run 2 miles. Okay, I got 3 miles, and okay, I can run a 5K. All right, so I'm getting there, but no, I'm not there. This chick don't run. Okay, if I'm running, you better run too. Just saying. But I don't have the endurance set for this job yet, and even though I did it all last year, I had the cop out of I have a real job. I'm working another job while doing this job. And so I have a cop out. And so I didn't build up that endurance, because it's okay, I've got to pass it off. I've got to, I can't do it all because I'm drowning, and now here I am, and it's okay, I've got to get that endurance up, and I'm not there. And it's already, here we are at the end of June. And so I'm struggling.
Right. I think part of it too, for all those folks that are considering and thinking about, whatever, as far as getting into business and doing it full time, doing it, making a real deal. Everybody's built different. Everybody's wired different, and Stephanie and I are wired different,
which is crazy.
It's a little bit crazy as far as just we both have a great drive. We both have great energy. But as far as just one thing about me that's different from her is that I see it as, hey, you do it till it's done, and then you get to relax. And, whereas Stephanie's man, I put in a certain amount of time and I'm done. Regardless of the job, I'm done. And that's her being in tune with herself. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. No,
because I see that I could do it till it's done 24/7. Yeah. And I feel that there are so many things that could be figured out, workable, fixable for every hour of the day. And I could work until I'm blue in the face, and then it's guess what? And
then you average it out and you made $5 an hour.
Right. And I mean that's where I'm at right now, I'm making barely minimum wage right now, and I'm working my butt off, and it's okay, let's keep going. I see the benefits of working, but that's 6 to 6. I'm working my butt off from 6 to 6, and that should be enough. Working with your spouse is a whole different level. And I call it hell, and he calls it a challenge. Okay.
And I do. Some people love a challenge, and I
he
love
does.
But I love you.
Oh,
and sure, you're gonna go there, but, because there's parts of it that are inseparable, and I think bottom line, in order to work together, there has to be, and I'm thinking this is just an absolute requirement. There has to be some level of unconditional love.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
so my first thing was boundaries, and you went with you got to make sure there's unconditional love. That's interesting.
And here's why.
Okay.
Here's why. Because, you can't spend that kind of time together working on the same thing, doing the same thing, and not have a clash, not have a difference of opinion, not have some sort of disagreement
Right.
during the journey. And there has to be some sort of unconditional love aspect there, because you got to come back to something.
Right.
You can't let the pencil sharpener divide your marriage because you wanted an electric one and he wanted the manual one.
Oh, we had one of the manual ones at our old house.
I want to
oh,
go.
yeah.
I want to go with the steady, reliable, and you want to go with the quick and easy. And you can't
Can we
let.
talk about that for a second?
No, we don't need. Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna dwell. Okay, so random. let's go down that rabbit hole.
Wait a minute.
So the first house that Ryan and I ever lived in, down in the we called it the basement, but it technically wasn't a basement.
It was
but
tri-level.
whatever. Anyway, so down there in a closet there was a pencil, like a old school grind 'em up pencil sharpener manual.
Boston pencil sharpener.
What? For me, that was one of those moments of like, I love this house. Like, what the hell? Okay,
Elementary school.
Right, yeah, it brought me back right to. Okay, so story time. Okay, I think it was first grade. Stephanie tried to sharpen a marker, a magic marker. I got in so much trouble. And I blamed it on Dave Porter, and I apologize.
How did you blame that
on
somebody else?
He didn't take it though. He put me right under the bus, and I got in so much trouble.
Way to go, Dave.
Okay, buddy.
Stand up. There you go.
But okay. What first or second? I can't even remember what grade it was. But like what grade? Like I'm cognizant and. It was running out of ink, and my thought process, if I sharpen it,
you should stop talking now. People are.
This is the level that we're doing. Yeah. Anyways,
she really is quite intelligent.
I try, but back in apparently first grade, I was not. Okay, so
just inexperienced.
I learned you were not. We have an electric pencil sharpener at the house now, and it, I keep thinking about that every time I sharpen a pencil. That one time it was like, it like died. My heart sunk.
You better not tell Isla this story. She's our daughter,
the youngest daughter would totally do that.
One. She would try and sharpen every color because maybe one would work. And she's that curiosity
driven, yeah.
And yeah, she's my daughter. I love her to death. She's
wrapped.
I keep seeing
wrapped.
I keep seeing this meme where it's like your oldest daughter is the the same as the father, like is the female version of you as a father.
Okay.
And it's like, yep.
But it's like technically she's the youngest kid, so it's like still yep. Like whatever.
Age is just the number.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, okay. So we strongly advise you to take a look at your relationship before you get into going to business with your partner. Okay. Yeah. However that partnership looks, it doesn't matter. Like if you're thinking about going into relationship with another person, you need to really, really evaluate that.
You mean a business relationship?
Yeah, business. I mean, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's what we're talking about. Right. Going into business. Okay. Yeah, no, that too. Like, if you're looking to go into a real relationship with a human being, really evaluate that. Like, can you live with this person? Do they even fold their clothes? Do they pick up their dirty laundry?
Do they respect the ever-living shit out of them? I mean, there has to be a level of respect.
Do they need a fan at night? I do. Ryan doesn't. So we had to buy a fan, and he has to deal with it. So, like,
I don't
You
have a
know,
problem with that.
these things, okay? Really, really evaluate that. It's on
Pick your
us.
battles.
It's right.
Fan is not one. You get
So
used to it.
many levels. Okay. As far as I'm trying to wrap this up because we've been talking for almost an hour now. You need to focus on making sure your foundation as a relationship, however that looks, is solid before you get into business,
Yeah.
because that's only going to exacerbate those cracks. You're not going to have a purely sound, because you're going to figure out that there are some things that you didn't realize about this person that you have a hard time working with, and
That's for
that's
sure.
a whole nother thing. But make sure your foundation is pretty solid because it's going to test it.
Right. There also needs to be a real conversation about, well, what if we can't do this? You know,
How do we get out?
get
Yeah.
out of the business relationship and still keep the personal relationship?
Definitely.
That's a hard ass conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to
I know
sugarcoat it at all, man.
I mean, that's so
that's tough.
morbid. That's morbid. Like you
That's
talking
tough.
about when, like, okay, so how do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be put in a coffin? Do you
Right,
want to be, put in a wood chipper and chalked off the side of the freaking boat? Like that's a side, that's a whole
That might
conversation.
sound really sick, but that's not an original thought from
That's not,
Stefan. No, that's-
all right. Make sure your foundation is good. Make sure that you know the boundaries. Make sure you know an exit strategy. These are hard things to have a conversation about, but knowing so you can have a tunnel vision to where you're extremely focused on your goals and what you want for those business, because you came into a business knowing that you have extreme goals, okay, that they're audacious and big and crazy, and that's what both and I, especially me, I have audacious goals for this business or businesses, and for me to be able to have to walk away from something like this is extremely hard, but it's a conversation that needs to be had prior to getting into business.
it is. But
So
focus is definitely the key.
yeah, so boundaries, focus, having an exit strategy so you both can actually be able to live with how you demise. It's literally like, okay, and I'm going to compare it to a divorce. Okay, so for me, apparently I'm such an expert in divorce because I've had two and Riley only has one. So let's just go with it. Okay, so
I
a
don't think we're gonna keep
demise,
score
I
on this
know,
one.
right? It's not something but so having a divorce is exactly what it feels like if you were to demise a business relationship. For me, it's a separation of what you had hopes and dreams for, and cutting that loose is so hard. And so when people go into relationships with, prenups or postnups, that's not that actually seems more, real for me now than anything. And I know that's that's so morbid. That's the same thing for me as making sure that people know what you want to do when you die.
Right.
So to be able to have an exit strategy if things go south, and exactly how you're going to demise the relationship, or to be able to separate it, to be able to still work together. And that sounds even crazier than but that's your decision. But to be able to have that plan in place. But we're not talking negative.
Nope.
We're talking positive.
It's gonna be a good thing.
Okay. Think long and hard. Have the real conversations. You're super excited, and I see it. I see you. And that's how I was. You super excited about, you want to do the things, you want to work together. You both see all the positive attributes. Write that shit down.
Yep.
Write it down.
In writing.
No, literally.
Like, write it down.
Write it down so you can come back to that and you can remind yourself. It's your vows. It's your business vows.
That's
so
an
you can
excellent point.
remind yourself that this is what you want. This is what you believe in. And so you can keep coming back to that. Because Ryan and I have it's a contract between him and I, that we keep coming back to, as far as not necessarily for business, but for as a relationship, that we keep coming back to, that we have to keep holding ourselves accountable for that.
Right.
And that is really important for me, and you have to find out what works for you. Also, boundaries. I'll keep preaching that till the day I die. A couple episodes ago, preach it. I will keep saying it till I die. So, boundaries, keep it, live it, figure out if it's 9 to 5 for you, cool. For me, it's 6 to 6. That's a long freaking day, but I do it. When my husband comes home at 6 and he's still talking about shit, like, let's go, because I clocked out a half an hour ago and you're not paying me overtime. Let's go. Okay? So do I get to sleep in a half hour in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh, I pay.
We already talked about that.
Right.
So
Okay.
I talked about that in an episode. My husband does listen to my episodes. He's a little behind, but I do talk about that in the episodes because he is a blessing on Sundays. I do get to sleep in. He does take the phone, and so it is a blessing. So anyway, making sure you have the boundaries, making sure you know the lines, prenup your business.
Yeah. I mean,
it sounds so bad. It really does.
Emotionless.
Right? It does. But I think you really, because when you're so excited about business, you need to take a hot minute to take that emotion out of it and be real with each other.
You do. You got to take the emotion out of so many things when it comes to working together, because I don't care how much you want it, how much you just felt inspired and it's what you were meant to be. If the numbers aren't there,
ooh, yeah, that's hard.
You can't will numbers.
Yeah, unfortunately,
and you can't make your spouse will numbers. It's you've got to be able to have, hey, this isn't gonna work, and what do we do now?
Right.
You know, and it's better to have that before you get into it than.
And so you have it literally right here in front of you and say, okay, so when it got this bad, we were going to demise it. And so you both are in agreement. And it's not all sunshine and rainbows like my beautiful husband decides to paint on a daily basis.
There's a real side.
There is, and it's not about being an optimist, and it's not being about pessimist. It's about being realist. Yeah. And you have to be real in business, and you have to look at the real numbers. Data is going to be your friend.
It is.
So,
in the end, you got to look at the data.
Yeah, in the end,
to take the emotion out of it. And dude,
ooh, that's hard.
Some days taking that emotion out,
that's hard,
will take you all day.
Oh my God.
Some days you have to, all those, it makes me sick sometimes because it's so cliche. Never go to bed angry.
I know. We've said that so many times.
What the hell?
I know.
Like, no, you go to bed angry because you're passionate about what you believe in, and you really want to try and infer that passion and relate
you want to sleep.
And you want to sleep. You need some freaking sleep. It adversely affects your sleep,
right?
I tell you. But no, like you gotta go to bed angry, but at the same time, you've got to be able to work through that anger and get to
figure it out.
The real.
Yep.
Because the anger isn't real.
No.
Especially, and you have to realize that. You have to tell them.
Say that, though. The anger is real, but as far as the anger being real, regardless to the actual problem. So you got to figure out.
The person. Like in a lot of cases, we're angry at each other.
Straight up. So I will.
Differences of opinion over a situation.
Right. Yeah. I will straight up get pissed off at him.
Pissed off is an understatement.
Yeah. I will get straight up pissed off at him because
Of my dad.
Well, stop. So, I mean, that because it's a problem in our business. So, anyways, but I get straight up pissed off with him in a business relationship because I'm having a hard time expressing myself and being able to get the point across. And then I feel like he becomes defensive because he feels like I'm attacking him. But it does seem like that because I'm trying to because who else is in this business? Right?
Yeah.
You and I, I can do karaoke, that not very good at karaoke, but I can do, like you and me are in this business. And so It is a thing. So, all right, wrap it up.
Yeah, we're going to make this 2 episodes. We're going for a marathon here.
Okay. Anyways, so be real. Stop trying to put your skin on of I'm a 5-year-old and I'm an adult skin and I'm running around trying to figure this out. Be real with each other. Okay?
Yeah, but you're not going to realize the whole
no,
5.
I know.
That's your partner's.
I know.
If your partner accuses you of being a 5-year-old, instead of taking instant offense, think about it.
No.
Just think about it for just a second.
I mean, if you come at me with telling me that I'm a 5-year-old, like, okay.
You did that. Passing the mic.
You guys. All right, now my husband is laughing hysterically. Okay, so focus on the good. Okay, there is a reason. There is a reason why you thought you could get into business with that person.
There's another reason and a lot of good reasons why you married that person.
Okay, so all right, and this is talking about spouses or significant others. So you may not be actually married to that person, but I'm talking about there is a reason why you're with that person, and there is a reason why you think you should be in business with that person. And take those hardcore, that's legit. That's a legit stuff. Yeah. Write it down. I swear to God, it's going to come back.
Yep.
It's worth it on
the ink. It's worth the paper.
Put it on a piece of paper.
Put it with the company documents.
Yeah.
Yep.
Put it in legit.
Have a lawyer sign off.
There
on
you
that
go.
Shit, man. And make it real.
Hardcore. Refer back to that on a daily basis. Yeah. When that person is at your wit's end, you think you're in the 3rd level of hell. Refer back to that and remember why you are with that person and why you got into business, because it's a double level. It's not just because you can say, okay, this is why I'm with this person, but you got to remember why you got in business with this person. It's a double level. So remember those reasons and write them down and remember them on a daily basis, because it's going to be hard.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. And you're always going to have challenges that you never expected.
Woo.
You never expected. And like I say this to people that's been in business for a while, that the business is established, okay? It's been around, right? But now you're trying to run it with your significant other because you needed the help. Right?
Yeah.
You needed the help. And they wanted to help you because they saw how stressed out it was. Make sure you have those values, because even if you've been in business forever, nobody saw COVID coming.
Nobody saw COVID coming.
Like you,
last year,
then you can refer back to those things. You can
last year tested tested and toasted. Okay, it tested and toasted everybody. We are burnt to a crisp from last year. Yep. And last year was if you couldn't survive through last year as a couple, then okay. But if you made it through, that is a foundation, y'all. Yeah. That's a foundation to build on, and let's go. Right. Okay? So Remember the reason why for both being married or being with and being in business.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's that for all of the reasons why those people are like, oh, you get to have lunch. Like, stop playing. Stop playing. No, remember the foundations of what you're in, because if you can't come back to those moments, if you can't come back to those reasonings, you're going to fail. You're going to crumble.
Yep. And one of the things that I've come to just kind of think about, is this crazy ass country song. Okay. And you've got to take that in consideration.
Brian doesn't like country.
I wasn't always
he
a
wasn't
country
a country
fan.
person.
Yeah, I didn't
so
grow
it
up
was
on
funny.
country.
This is funny for me.
But like, as a business partner, as a married couple that works together, one of the song lines that comes up in my head a lot of times that kind of, it does create problems, but it can explain problems. But it's hard to kiss the lips at night that chew your ass out all day long. So you gotta keep that in consideration. You gotta take that into account. You've got to have those boundaries to where, okay, we're done working. It's time for us. And that's not easy, but it's an absolute must. And hopefully you can find the good in that boundary lesson, to make sense of some of the chaos or leave some of the chaos behind you from the day.
So,
and then get up and do it again tomorrow.
Yeah. On a daily basis. So in times of hard, in times of difficult, in times of wanting to murder your husband on a daily basis because we work 7 days a week.
Pretty sure she's got a pretty good plan. So. My name's Ryan Wainwright. If you see it in the news as a missing person,
find the good.
Yeah, find the good.
Find the foundations that made you love that person, made you want to go in business with that person. Yeah. Find the funny, because I can sit here and laugh with you about all the ridiculousness, because most days I want to choke you.
Again, if you see me in the news as a missing person, my name is Ryan Wainwright.
We started off the whole episode.
There's lots of pictures of me on Facebook.
Thanks for sticking with us with this long episode, and I appreciate you all for showing up for us and my special guest, my husband today. Thanks. He's not dead yet. Nope. Tune in next week. There's going to be more awesomeness, so I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Thanks for listening to another episode of Chaotic Compass Podcast. We appreciate it, and if you would like to get notifications, please subscribe and tell all your friends. See you next time.